Now, what is to be known now from the topic in the classifications, what's to be known? The wisdom awareness. Now, which wisdom should we know? The mundane one, or lesser mundane, or greater mundane? So the greater mundane, from among the three types of wisdom awareness, the greater supramundane wisdom awareness must be studied. We study that and we must practice that. This will be explained through the 6 topics. Now this is how we study and practice step by step. The refutation of grasping things as being existent. How to refute or explaining how they are not exist. And the refutation of grasping things as being non-existent. Now you're saying it not exist. Attachment, grasping, that is also not right. The fallacy of grasping non-existent. If you think it's emptiness, nothing exists. Thinking about that, that's a great fall. Mistake. Because we don't know what really emptiness is mean. No? We fall the nihilist. So this is here teaching about cutting the two extremes, the eternalist and the nihilist. Not absolute. Sometimes we write nihilism and absolute. Absolute. If you write absolute, then it will make a big mistake, confusion. Eternalist, and nihilist. We have to cut this through, this two. The fallacy of grasping non-existence, the fallacy of both graspings, and the path that leads to liberation. Now, what's the path to lead to liberation? Free from samsara, achieve nirvana. Then they say, nirvana, the nature of liberation. What is nirvana? What's the liberation? See how beautifully designed this book. First look at the contents. So precious. No? Now first, the refutation of grasping things as being exist, and the lamp for the path to enlightenment, Atisha says, it's not logical for something that already exists to arise. If it exists, why need to arise? It exists. No? So it's not logical. Also, something which does not exist is like a sky flower. Cannot manifest, cannot rise. It's very sharp mind, isn't it? If it exists, then it doesn't make sense. Now rise. No need to rise because it exists. If not exists, then what can be rise? Like sky flower, so beautiful, colorful sky flower. Have you seen anybody sky flower? Sky lotus. So yes, he says this is the quotation. Now we go through this, you see. And so forth, it is said to be analyzed by such great reasoners with sharp reasoning. If this is explained according to the Lamrim, you see this. Now this is this JOL Ornament of Liberation is Lamrim, It's the first Lamrim in Tibet. Existence And grasping of existence and grasping of the existence can existence and grasping of existence can all be categorized under two selves. And these two selves are by nature empty. What then are these two selves or minds? Now, who holds the self? It's the mind. Mind is the one who is grasping the self, so it's called the mind. There are what is called the self of person, the two selves. The first one is the self of person, and the self of the phenomenon. The second one is called self of the phenomenon. Those are the two selves now. And what is the self of person or mind? Although there are many systems of explanation concerning this, means different great scholars, they explained differently. No. In reality, a person is the combination of awareness and the continuation of the afflicted or defiled aggregates. The continuation of this our skandha, the self, and our skandha or the aggregates, and the mind, so which awareness, so holding of this, said, this is my 5 aggregates, the body. So holding that in the mind, so that's me. When you look at the picture, say, this when I was child, this when I was young, this when I was in the middle age. Now this I'm getting older. Now I'm very old. So still this all me, Me. This all this continuation. The continuity of the afflicted aggregates. The awareness of the mind on that is the identification of the person self. Something like permanent me. I am unique. Isn't it? See, from thousands, hundreds, thousands of the people say, this is me. It's a unique. And something like permanent, it's always me. I am. Something like in the mind is exist permanently. Holding or grasping of that. See, this is called self now. So, so there's self of the person, the self. And what is self or person or mind? Although there are many systems of explanation concerning this, it is really a person is the combination of awareness and the continuity of this afflicted aggregates, always hopping about, fluctuating, and reckless. Keeps very busy. It's a capricious nature, unstable. The sutra pieces says, this continuum is called the person, or in other words, it is just recklessness and fluctuation. The continuation of this, and it's like a rubber band. So that's how to identify what is the self of the person. Now look at this. First, this is how we hold in the mind. Just Naturally, we have that. In the samsara, that's me. It's I am. Even when I suffer, that's the me. Even when I'm happy, that's me. One thing, isn't it? Just try to get that picture in your mind, you see. According to this explanation, try to get some understanding what it makes sense. If not completely, but get some close to that. So it's, having grasped this person as being permanent, as mentioned, unique, one then clings to it and becomes attached to it as I or self. Then say, me, myself. You attach to, no? I'm attached to so much to myself. So this called, first of all, is misunderstanding. Say, that is what should be known as the self or person or mind. Because it's mind means as I hold this, there's a mind. I hold this kind of concept, self. I believe myself. A unique, some kind of like permanent, something like independent. And then day after day, we go with it. The afflicting emotions are produced by this self. You see, now, attachment, anger, hatred, pride, jealousy, so all these things rise on the base on that now. This is the foundation. This is the root of the samsara now. So how beautifully designed this, explained. See? So their karma is produced by the afflicting emotions. Then all this, because of all these mental afflictions, the cause is created. This karma means cause, created. As yesterday we went through the 12 interdependent link. First is the ignorance, which is what is called ignorance now. On the base of ignorance, then there comes the I attach to myself. I hate other who opposes me. And then there comes pride. There comes jealousy, greed, so forth, And then we create all the suffering, the cause of suffering. Says because now you see so carefully, the afflictive emotions are produced by this self. Karma is produced by the afflicting emotions. This suffering is produced by this karma. So suffering is not manifested without cause, without condition. Therefore, the root of all sufferings and false is the self or the mind, this ignorant, misperception, mind. From this, see how we created samsara. The commentary on valid cognitions says, this Indian logician Dharmakirti, if the self exists, one knows others. Means when I say, I am me here, I am exist, then there comes other. Me and other. From self and other arises attachment, aversion. Then I attach to myself, and I have aversion when somebody opposes me. So attachment, aversion manifests. It's interdependent, interconnected. The attachment doesn't rise without cause, without basis. The aversion doesn't rise without cause, without condition. From there, the complete interaction, all conflict rises. Then with that, this whole wall, look at all the conflicts there, how they manifest now. We can say this is a Buddhist philosophy, but it's not Buddhist philosophy. It's a description of the reality of whole phenomena. See, this is not just a Buddhist belief, isn't it? Do you think so? Or it's not? Look at this, Now just meditate. How it makes a great sense. So this is the description of the self or person now. Okay? Self person. Now next say, what is the self or phenomena? Then what means self or phenomena? One should know phenomena as the object of outer fixation. So that what we project outside, all these things is called phenomena. This also is in Sanskrit is also called dharma. Outer fixation, what we're fixated. And the mind of inner, also it's the inner grasping. Then outer phenomena that were grasping, fixation, and inner mind, the grasping, those two duality. Why this called phenomenon? Because they hold their own characteristics. You know this? What is their own characteristics? Everything has its own unique identity. That's called characteristics. Even though like this prayer booklet, if you don't examine carefully, this all looks same. But if I've been using this for myself for like a month, just this, then if it is mixed all this, I will see it. I can identify, this is mine. Even though it's all same, but each has its own unique character. That's called, which holds the characteristics. That's what's called, you see. Because they hold their own characteristics. A person whom I know, all people are same, basically. There's hundreds of thousands of people in one place. That person whom I know, immediately I will recognize. This is that person. Because that person holds its own unique characteristics. So there says that the fire is hot, burning. The water is a moisture, liquid. Those have to have those, the definition of those. The earth is heavy, solid. The air is light and moving. So these are different characteristics of each this phenomena. So every phenomena has its own unique characteristic or character. Yeah. That's what's called phenomena. It's called dharma. Dharma means which holds the characteristics. It's called dharma. The Sutra pieces says that which holds its own characteristic is called a phenomena. So first, what is phenomena? So they, identify what is a phenomena. The self of phenomena consists of these two, the fixation and grasping. Now, since they have their own characteristic, then these two, fixation and grasping, holding them as an existence and attached to them. Then we mind as grasping. I grasp my mind. And then they fixate it outside. This is that, this is that, this is that, with design, all this. So we're fixated on that. On the basis of the fixation, then grasping comes. It is called existence and attaching to them. Explaining how the two selves are by nature empty. Now we have to study here how naturally they're empty. No, the nature is empty. First, to refute the self of person. So the self of the person, the self is not exist. We have to now discuss, study, analyze, investigate, scrutinize self of the person. Acharya Nagarjuna says in the precious jewel garland, saying that I and mine exist is contrary to the ultimate meaning. If you say I or my, me is exist, the self is exist, it's very contrary to the ultimate nature. From the point of view of ultimate, doesn't make sense. The self is exist. No, you can debate here. Okay. Now all the logicians debate here now. So the meaning here is that the self does not exist in the ultimate sense. So when you said contrary means the self is not exist. If the self or the mind existed ultimately, then when the mind had insight into the truth, means ultimate truth, reality, nature, the self should exist. If the self is exist, first of all, by its nature, when you see your mind directly in the ultimate nature, that time say, oh, I see myself. Self is like this. Such thing is not exist in the ultimate meaning, It's all pervading emptiness. However, when the mind has insight into the essential nature of the truth, self is not there, it's not there. Therefore, the self does not exist. So, Gampopa, he doesn't go too far, making a lot of arguments, just few sentences, make the decision. If self is exist, then when you enlightened, in other words, when you're enlightened, you should have seen this is self. But when you're enlightened, there's no something such called self is exist independently. So self is not exist. No, this kind of. Precious JOL Nagarjuna says, therefore, when one fully realizes as it is, you see, its true nature, unfabricated nature, perfectly, the two do not exist. The mind, the I and mine, or my, those two are not exist. Realizing as it is perfectly means seeing the truth, you see. Seeing the truth, reality nature. Truth means here unfabricated nature, uncontracted nature. It's beyond our defiled mind, beyond the afflicting emotions mind. Uncontracted, The true not arising means that the non-arising of the grasping of I and mine. Those two are you don't see. So where's I? You cannot see. So just from the ultimate point of view, the self is not exist. Furthermore, if the self or the mind exists, it does exist, then investigate. Now this is through relative state. Now, the other one is from the ultimate point of view, from the experiential state. Now, second one is through our relative state. Now, investigate carefully if self exists or not. See now, investigate whether it arises from itself. The self arises by itself, or arises from itself or from other. The self is arise from other or by itself, or from both, or from the three times, past, present, future. So see that these are investigated. It does not arise from itself because either the self already exists or it does not already exist. Let's ask this question. The self is arise where it exists, or it arise first is not exist. It arises from the existence, or it arises from non-existence. See, if it does not already exist, it does not. First, you see, it does not arise from itself. What this one is. It does not arise from itself because either the self already exists or it does not already exist. Okay. If it does not already exist, it cannot become a cause to produce itself because it not exist. If it does really exist, then it cannot produce its own result. Means it cannot exist, it cannot rise because it exists. Hear me? Make sense? This very sharp mind, we need that. Very sharp mind here now. Yes. If it exists, it cannot become a cause to give rise because it exists. If it is not exist, there cannot be a result because it does not exist. Now here we need very sharp mind now, logical, empirical, sharp mind now here. Who has this?
I think it's him.
Oh.
One of those other people.
Not you? I thought you, I thought.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, here's, even in Tibet it's very difficult.
Isn't it a little like a mirror or a reflection?
Now here we say we have to go through that, not just mirror, Or maybe first make a short break. Yeah. I think we need, so you make a break, build a little strength, okay, they come back.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? So good to see you.
Yes, wonderful.
How? I brought his juice.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, you're here. It's so productive with the and it's so and they can't be ready.
Then the other one is
Like that.
among us. Can't
Make something back.
like okay. We can okay the one which is as the name goes on. My book gets so so far, so here's something bitters. You come to practice? Yeah. I know what. I'll get you back.
No, really. It doesn't. No.
So now here we are having a tough time here, looking down here, see? The ultimate real nature is above us, So Nagarjuna says, if the self is exist inherently, then that should be seen by the enlightened beings, because it exists. So since none of the enlightened beings have seen that, so within the framework of the enlightenment, the self is not exist. Now in the conventional state, now we have to investigate here. Now here it shows, first of all, you see, how the mind need to be calm and peaceful. Very stabilized mind, calm mind can capture this. A figured mind, it's very difficult to now understand this, So what he is explaining is that if this is inherently exist, the self, if the self is inherently exist, through these reasoning, we have to see it. But through these different reasoning, you cannot see it. So here say, it does not arise from itself. Or the self itself is not arise from itself, because either the self already exists or it does not already exist. Those two, If it does not already exist, the self is not exist, then it cannot become a cause to produce itself, because it not exist. That which is not exist cannot become a cause to produce. That's clear, isn't it? It does already exist. I think it's then maybe. Then it cannot produce its own result. If it is exist, then it exists. No need to be produced as a result.
Sounds like it was written by lawyers.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Produce its own results. So there is a contradiction in a self producing itself. So there's contradiction, by itself. If it exists, it exists. No need to produce. Like say, if the rice or the mango, if the mango exists, it no need to be produced because it exists. If the mango is not exist, then there's no way to produce. So self is now, if you say self is arise, whether it exists or not exists. If it exists, no need to manifest because it exists. If not exist, how it can be manifest? These are very critical, a logic argument. It's proving the self is not exist. It's all our delusion. It also does not arise from other because it is not a cause. It cannot arise from other. It's not a cause. How can it not be a cause? Now the question, how it cannot be a cause? A cause must relate to the result. Cause, result, related. Without a result, there's no cause. Cause should be the cause related to the result. Without fruit, there's no seed. We say this is a seed because related to for the fruit. A cause must be related to the result. Until there is a result, it is not possible for there is to be a cause. When there is no cause, a result does not arise. The result of fruit does not arise, as was shown before. Now these arguments you can study thoroughly in the Madhyamika Avatara, engaging in the middle way by Chandrakirti in the sixth chapter. If you are so interested. They're so detailed on that, If it arises by itself, then it said it's how itself can be the cause to rise itself. The cause and the result. Now, if you say the result exists in the cause, then the result and the cause are together. How it can become a cause. If there's no result in the cause, then how it can manifest. So this is a proving everything is just illusory nature. Manifests just illusory nature. There's no any inherently say proof this is a that, this is that. When you say other, other means the result and the cause. They should be side by side, isn't it? So how first falls is, the mango seed and the mango fruit, are they side by side? What do you say?
One within the other.
What do you mean within the others?
Is the mango and inside mango is the seed?
That mango seed is the mango seed or is the mango result? Both how can be is very contradiction. How can be both?
They seem to be separate things.
Are they, two means they're two separate, isn't it? Left and right should be together or separate?
They seem separate, but they're interdependent.
No, they're separate, isn't it? Because there's a right, there's a left, isn't it? They should be side by side together? Or without one is exist?
Abstraction.
Without one, without others, it can exist. How you can say this is right or left?
The manga depends.
No, this is right or left.
This is orange. This is a mission of writers like.
Oh, is your arm right?
Yeah, this right or left, what?
I see your other arm.
No, so I'm not seeing, you are not looking at this, You are not looking at this. Then what? Then what is this then?
An arm.
There's a left and a right side.
So same thing, result and the cause, you see. So there's one thing is what you call is cause or result.
Neither. If it's just one.
So you see, it's just, that's what's called illusory. All related, interdependent. That's what's called. Interdependent means yesterday we went, it's illusory nature. This is if you this is few paragraphs here. If you study thoroughly, this will give you such an impact, wisdom, understanding here. This is what is the Buddhist teaching. All how it's called interdependently exist, not exist inherently. So when we don't know, when we don't have that wisdom, then we have no ability to capture this meaning. This is mentioned, grasping, fixated. When you realize this, then all the concepts of the grasping is destroyed, dismantled. The self also does not arise from both. Both arguments are faulty, as explained before. If the causes exist, results exist, then you can say it's rise from the both. So neither of these exist, so how it can be said from both? No. The self also does not arise from the three times. It does not arise from the past because the past is like a rotten seed. Nothing can grow. It's germinating power exhausted. So the seed has no power to grow anything like this. It's gone. Yesterday it's gone. It's not here. This morning it's gone, not here. It does not arise from the future since that would be like the child of barren woman. This means, you know that? A child of a barren woman, It's very strong, fast, elegant, very smart. You know that, isn't it? Huh? Everyone is keeping quiet. Don't. faces. It's not exist, It's non-existent. It's called the rabbit of the hare. Oh. No, sorry, it's the horn of the hare.
Yeah.
The horn of the hare, The rabbit horn is at very long, many wrinkles,
It doesn't even.
It's totally
Now it also does not arise from the present, since it would not be appropriate for the producer and the produced to arise together. The producer and the produced, they both cannot be in one moment. If one is present, one is future. If one is past, one is present. The together cannot be together. So the future and now, they cannot come together, isn't it?
Where do the conditions come into play? Like you talk about a seed and a fruit, and when you have your conditions of the soil and the rain.
You see, so all illusory. See, if you investigate like this way, you cannot find. Now, you cannot find. See? If you just, with a fixated mind, then you investigate carefully, all your fixated mind dissolves. Therefore, the precious JOL Garland says, since the self does not arise from itself, others, by itself, by others, both or the three times, so the grasping of the self is exhausted, you see. Or grasping to the self, that the fixated mind grasping the self becomes baseless. Now, as I mentioned, intellectually, we can investigate this for many years, debate. Through this, all the debate, said you can prove there's no self, isn't it? But then, without meditation, in our duality mind, still self is so strong, isn't it? It's me. I am here. Nobody can beat me, due to lack of the practice, meditation. So while we're proving there's no self, at the same time, it requires so important to practice Dharma. That's called study, contemplate, meditation practices. Intellectually, you can say, my view is the highest view. You may prove from many ways, but if no experience, what it helps to bring a highest view? Not practical, isn't it? That's where we need to practice, meditate. That's all designed from this generosity, moral contact, patience, perseverance, meditative concentration, step by step, and to this point. Now, does not arise means that is not produce here. Produce means it's not born inherently. That which is born is unborn, they're saying. So that illusory birth, like a growing tree, a mother gives a birth of child. This all birth, that illusory birth, is nature of unborn. So we have to understand the illusory birth, that itself is unborn. In the world, we cannot deny the tree is growing. Mother gave a birth to a child. We cannot deny that. At the same time, that birth itself, that production itself, is unborn. That's what is the scientific nature. That cuts the duality. Then mind is free from the boundary. There are no questions.
So this is because of interdependence, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So they arise and then unarise.
That's right. Yes. Then here comes, when Milarepa said in the song, if one has not realized, he said, if one is not realized nature of unaging, the aging has inconceivable suffering. If one has not realized the nature of this sickness as a non-sickness, the sickness is unbearable. If one has not realized the nature of deathlessness, the suffering of death is inconceivable suffering. It doesn't mean one will not age, one will not get sick, one will not die. All happen all this, but when you have this kind of practice, then one will go above all those experiences which usually in the samsara we have. So that's the very purpose of this study and practice Dharma. Make sense? How important this is, see? So the very relatively born, produce itself is unborn, unproduced. That's why in Heart Sutra you see, the form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Form is no other than emptiness, and emptiness is no other than also form. How precious this is now. It's easy to talk, just in that high views, that nothing exists, this, that. But when you come to this point, it's critical. It's very difficult to communicate, to exercise, because we go into deeper meaning. See, look at how Gampopa, see how the great scholar, see, he is. The Madhyamika, now the engaging the middle part, the big book, he put into 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs here,
Inshallah, when I said you had an arm,
Yes.
in relation to everything else and other arms that I said is an arm.
Really?
All those, I couldn't even say it's an arm.
Really? Okay. So all one should understand did you read this? This by this way, say, investigate that which is called self, to see whether it exists within one's. So now it's investigated. First, say, it's born from, it is manifest from within itself, from others, so forth. Now then it's investigated through 3 times, past, present, future. Now it's investigated, make sure that we get really good understanding where there's no self. Now it's within the body, or within the mind, or within in the name. So, my body, mind, name. First, see, this body is of the nature of the 4 elements. See, the solidity of the body is earth, like the bone, flesh, those the earth element. Its moisture is water, blood, all the moisture, is also water. Its heat is fire. The heat, digestion power, so forth, is the fire. And its breath, we breathe out and in. Its mortality are wind, we move around. Now look at this. So the body is composed of 4 elements. First meditate. Now he has said, thus the self or the mind does not exist within these 4 elements. Now ask yourself, is exists with the earth, water, wind, or fire? So it's not exist. Very clear. So just as the mind does not within these 4 elements, just as the mind does not exist within the 4 outer elements of earth, water, fire, and this mind means self. The self is not exist with our 4 elements within this body as outside 4 elements. No, the self is not exist. Now it's very clear. Now again you look further to the body, inside the body or outside the body, or with your head, or with your arms, with the skins, or in the organ, like in the brain, so forth. You cannot find the self exists. If you divide this all into pieces, they turn into dust particle. Now where is self with the body? It's clear, isn't it? Look at this. So now make sure we understood that. Now, does the self exist within the minds, or is self exists in the mind? Because I think I am. So now, it's no, because the mind does not exist anywhere. So now, where does the mind exist? Having not been seen by either oneself or others. I have not seen my mind. Where it is located? No. In the brain? In the heart? Where mind? I haven't seen. Simply here saying, have you seen? Yeah. No. Either oneself or others have you seen? Have you seen it? Since mind itself does not exist, since mind itself does not exist, where? So the self does not exist there. how you can say self is exist. So that's very clear now. It's clear? Does the self, now say, does self exist within a name? Maybe it exists with my name. When somebody calls my name in a bad way, it gives me pain. If somebody calls me saying good things about me, my name, I feel good. So it looks like the self exists with my name, you know? Then said, no, because a name is just something temporarily assigned, very temporarily assigned, giving the name. You can change your name anytime, you know, very temporary. So that means it's not exists. It does not exist within the material, nor the name is the namesake. The name is not exist in the material, nor does it have any relation to the self. Everything is just name, but name has no material thing. It's just a label. It's just a notion. No. So now through this reasoning, see where the self is exists now. Thus, by these three reasons, the self of the person or mind has not been established, and has been established as non-existent. So this, up to this, is the, thoroughly studying the self of the person is not exist. Still, we have a lot of work to do here, so get real more understanding on this. If you communicate with others, that you have a clear understanding of this. Through this you can communicate with others, to yourself. And then practice.